We are Dawn2Dusk Farm in Cambridge, Minnesota. I run this operation with my wife, Lorna of Dawn2Dusk and 2 kids. I'm originally from Kenya. I have been here since 2014. This year we are growing the same thing we have been growing for the last 7 years, organic vegetables for the market. So that's everything from winter squash, zucchinis, onions, cabbages, kale, tomatoes, everything that you'll find at the farmer's market. We use organic practices and we are certified organic. It's 20 acres that we are farming. This year we've had, I would say, just about enough rain to grow our crops. Everything seems okay. We've not had too hot weather or too dry weather. Before I moved here, I went to Big River Farms. It's an incubator farm that trains mostly immigrants on how to farm. I had to learn when to seed, when to transplant, what their names are. I had to learn how they are cooked or eaten because I was selling at the farmer's market. But over time, I continued learning from the other vendors in the market. I still continue to learn how to grow this. And every year, if I successfully grow the cucumbers, I consider that a success that will take me to the next year. Up to now, we are still trying to learn how to grow different things. This year I tried growing ginger in the hoop house. Me and Lorna did not learn how to grow or how to cook or how to sell all these crops in 1 year. We learned every year. And as our business was growing, so was our education on the crops.
The zucchinis, the summer squash, we pick it like 3 times a week because it grows so big. See, this is the one that we missed. And now look at it. People don't like it big. This is the perfect size for zucchini. So you have to keep picking it so it can keep it small. Like the zucchinis, I normally saute with some olive oil and just eat it. We have summer squash zucchinis, yeah. And then this one's is like patty pans. Zucchinis, but different.
Patty pan. We sell at the farmer's market in Minneapolis. Mill City Farmers Market we go on Saturday, Kingfield we go on Sunday, and then between Monday and Thursday we deliver for the wholesale in St. Paul. Wholesale means we are growing and selling in bulk. We're getting a contract and we are selling to the Good Egg, the Second Heartland Harvest and others. On Saturday at the Mill City we would sell up to 20, 30 different things. So everything that we can find here on the farm that is ready, we will take it to the market. Around this time in August, we have a lot of produce, tomatoes, eggplants, summer squashes, potatoes, you name them, celery, fennel, chard, onions, I can go on and on. So we also grow Kenyan greens. You can see there's a spider plant, there's a nightshade, and there's also the heirloom white corn. But we normally eat what we grow here. We will freeze and use that all year round. Building the high tunnel is not easy because during the summer we are busy trying to put out things, weed and all that, and in the winter we can't, it's cold. Also because we cannot easily find somebody to put it up, and if we do, it's expensive. So it has taken me since I started building the hoop house somewhere in mid-April, and I just finished it, or I have not finished it, but it's because I try to do it by myself. I have built 2 or 3 others before, but whenever I get time, I just go there, do one more thing and continue like that. So I would say for me, I have been able to build it because I can use the tractor loader to do it, lift things around. I have other people who don't have it, and it becomes a challenge. When I go to help them, they can't do it because they don't have equipment to help them, and then it becomes expensive to do it. We have had a chance to get help from the farm birds. These are volunteers. We had almost 20 people come out, and maybe half of them were helping building the hoop house. It really helps because it creates community to begin with, because most people also don't understand why do you need this, how do you use it. Others from the volunteers, they're just excited to have their hands on stuff. For me as a farmer, it's both mixed, because sometimes if I'm not well organized, not very much will be accomplished, because the volunteers will not do anything unless they are directed or guided to do whatever they do, even if it's as simple as growing something. So I found that it works well if whoever is getting that volunteers has worked with them before and understands how to guide them to accomplish a lot. And there are things that they can do, and there are things that they will not be able to do because of just experience. NRCS provided the funding for the hoop house through the EQIP program, and this is the second time I've had that funding. I worked with Josh Bock with the NRCS. I worked with him even with the first funding for the high tunnel that I had. It worked well. He understood what I wanted, and he came out here 2-3 times, and yeah.
We started working with Moses shortly after he purchased the farm. It was very easy working with Moses. He was in the office regularly, getting the farm set up eligibility-wise, and programs kind of fell into place. His dream was to always purchase his own farm. He was excited to work with us and work with the programs. His plan was to do vegetables for market. Originally, we started with a plan to put in a field border. He wanted to grow organically, so we set up the farm with a 20-foot field border around the cropland. And then we also worked with the cover crop plan the first summer. He knew he wasn't going to be able to plant vegetables on all 15 acres of tillable land, so we planned mostly cover crops to kind of give the soil a little jump start or protection, since it had been row crop for so long. We worked with EQIP to do both of those. The benefit of having a big field for someone growing vegetables is it doesn't all have to be in production every year. So he lets the ground rest. He lets cover crops do the job. The land that he needs in production is rotated. Moses has 15 acres of tillable, which allows him to do management with the 10 acres that's not in production, cover crops and improvements to the soil, and then still allows him plenty of acres, the 5 acres, to grow the vegetables that he needs for the farmer's market down in the Twin Cities. And then a year later, Moses applied for a high tunnel. That was installed in 2017. And now we're working with him on an additional high tunnel. Just one of the benefits of the high tunnel is getting the crops in the ground a little sooner, being a little earlier to the market with tomatoes or whatever that specialty crop might be, and then growing further into the fall, the late season markets also is where he utilizes his high tunnels. We had a challenge with the first high tunnel and snow load and issues with that, but I think we kind of learned from that and hopefully have a good game plan going into fall if we do have some early snow to be able to survive those kind of events. This particular high tunnel was funded through EQIP. One of the requirements of the high tunnel would be that the crop is grown in the soil, in the profile, and not on tables. The biggest factor is owning the land or having control of the land for the life of the contract.
So Bartholomew organized the farm birds who came out to help building the high tunnel.
I heard about Moses through the work I do with Renewing the Countryside, actually. He's one of the farmland access navigators. And so we work together. He's also a conservation connector with NRCS. So we're here to support Moses and Lorna and their mission and help them build capacity for doing what they do good. They're an organically certified farm, and they're growing produce for sale at farmers markets, and they do some wholesale as well. And then they also have a nonprofit which helps to support, to mentor and provide other shared resources for other African farmers. The work that they're doing is really important. So what we're doing today is we had a bunch of people that came out. It's all volunteer. A lot of folks from the city, some folks from other towns like around Cambridge, but came out to learn about the farm. We learned about Moses and Lorna and the work they're doing, really inspiring work. And we learned about the farm. We took a farm tour. A big part of why we're out here is to support sustainable agriculture. Moses already had a lot of stuff set up, and we brought people power, we brought tools, and we were just kind of following directions on what Moses wanted. And it's kind of like a big IKEA project. There's all these different pieces. A lot of it's just kind of navigating it and working out as a team. And hopefully you have a team. It's a really awesome team building project. And we also get to learn about the importance of these structures, which are so critical for our sustainability. So that's a lot of what we were doing. We were screwing the screws into posts, and we were putting up this lumber that Moses already had, so it's going to be sturdy, and so that'll support the growth of a lot of awesome plants. NRCS does a lot of great work around supporting this kind of infrastructure, which for northern climates, it's critical for farmers. And so the cost sharing program that NRCS has for this kind of structure is just, it's awesome.
Just do 5.
5 inches, and so I'll draw a line there,
Yeah.
and we'll drill it in right on this side over here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 5 inches up.
The new hoop house that we just finished, we put in tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, eggplants. Those are what we like to put in the high tunnel because of 2 things. We can extend the season, but also because sometimes in the morning, like today, we had a big fog, and that ends up putting disease pressure on those crops, especially tomatoes or cucumbers. So a high tunnel helps keep the morning moisture or night moisture out of the crops, thus preventing diseases like blight. So the new hoop house, we already have tomatoes. We put it in before even we finished the hoop house.
The challenge is going with organic in sandy, droughty soils is we have a lot of weed pressure, but yet with rotation, cover crops, and little different management style, he can work with the acres that he needs and focus on those acres and be productive.
We have to manually weed. This year we tried using fabric mulch to control weeds, but we've been just weeding by hand. We've also have challenges with insects. We can spray them as last resort using organic pesticides, but most of the time the only insect problem that we have is the Colorado potato beetles. But most of the time, because we rotate our crops every year, we have not seen much insect pressure. Other years it has been more difficult, like last year when we had a prolonged drought, we saw more insect pressure. We lost cucumbers because we could not control the cucumber beetles or the squash bugs. We had more pressure from the potato beetles. There's a correlation between a hot, dry weather with insect pressure, as far as I can, tell from experience. We also had challenges watering our plants. We were running water constantly to try and irrigate. We have sandy soil here, and that gives us a little more challenge when it's dry. The onion crop that even the farm birds did help, we have already harvested the bulbs. The green onions are still here, but we got a good big harvest of the onions, the shallots, yeah.
Over on the other side of the farm, there's an even bigger group of folks who were transplanting plants that they had started in the greenhouse and in this high tunnel that Moses built and transplanting into those rows over there. What they were doing was transplanting it from the greenhouse, taking it out, wrapping it in a wrap that helps to mitigate the risk of worms eating at the onion plants. The plastic is there to stop the weeds from growing because in an organic farm, you can't be using chemicals. So they were poking holes about 2 inches deep so they could transplant the plants. So a lot of awesome work, just people talking, connecting, and helping stuff grow.
Definitely, I would recommend other farmers, other people who are interested in working with the NRCS to reach out and have the technicians come out and work on their farm, look at what is needed, and then they definitely will help in filling out that paperwork.
I would recommend that anybody even looking at purchasing a farm or in the process of purchasing a farm to stop by the office and just get the ball rolling with setting up a farm, setting up eligibility, and getting those things in the work. That way when it comes time to talk programs, everything's in place and there's a lot less paperwork, a lot less background work. We recommend getting in early and just establishing some records. If you would have seen it the first year he purchased it, it looked like a beach out here. It's sandy, very sandy soil, not the highest productivity, and he's been able to kind of give the land a break from the row crop situation and been able to build some soil health back into the mix and grow good quality vegetables and do well at the markets.
Definitely, I feel I'm a successful producer. I've learned over the years. It is important to be successful in what I'm doing as a farmer because I feel connected to the land and I feel also the community I am a part of, be it the immigrant community, be it the local community. We are all connected to land. This is where we get our food, and we want this to be passed on to the future generations. So as people come and work on the farm, I always show them what I'm doing, and I always say we are all connected to the land. We live our full life if we do something in relations to the land.
The biggest success in this situation is he can have something to bring to market every week. The high tunnels help. The productivity on the land is improved, so he's showing up with the markets with a good product and plenty to sell.
Today was a huge success. So many people came out, so many people that don't really have a lot of exposure to farm life, and they got to experience it, a little piece of it, a little piece of the really challenging and rewarding work that farmers do. And so it was a huge success. I know that we helped Moses and Lorna get a lot of work done, and a lot of friends were made, and we got a lot of beautiful sunshine, and we're excited to see all this produce grow.
It's important to help these smaller guys out just because a lot of times they need a little extra incentive or they need a little help getting going, and I think that's the case with Moses. He knew what he wanted to do, he had the ambition, he had the work ethic, he just needed a little help to get there. He had spent a good chunk of money just to purchase the farm and had a good plan of where his markets were going to be and was already in with the markets, so we needed to give him a little boost to get him going in that direction. And I think the program fit that scenario very well, and it's shown. He's survived. I think he's 7-8 years on this farm, and I believe he's going to keep going.
Karibu tena na asante sana.